When someone really likes you, it's effortless. No one is busier than someone who is not interested in you. The truth hurts. It's incredible the mental acrobatics that people put themselves through to avoid this harsh truth, and so many other dating harsh truths. Dating should be effortless, yes, but a successful, long-term relationship, assuming that's your goal, will have its inevitable tribulations. Any successful, long-term relationship will have gone through tough times, arguments and effective problem resolution. If a long-term relationship seems effortless, chances are that's a facade for lack of communication or one person being passive for the sake of peace in a relationship. But yes, dating shouldn't involve the same level of work that comes with a committed relationship. Dating should be effortless. A relationship should not. Why not? Can't a relationship be easygoing and just feel very good? It can. A good relationship will feel good, but that doesn't always mean it's easy. A good relationship isn't about not fighting. It's about being able to come to a good conclusion together and understanding each other when fighting. Fighting and arguing in a good relationship isn't a bad thing. That's perfectly normal and healthy. Also, you won't be wondering why, on a weekend night, they aren't with you / asking to see you. True, everyone gets busy, but if they make no effort to even let you know when they can meet and just say I'm very busy this week with insert reason, they just aren't into you. Literally just happened to me yesterday. Got the I need to cancel tomorrow text with no mention as to when she might be free next. Just laugh it off and delete the text thread. Sorry to hear that, man. When this happens, I just say no worries, get back to me when you're free and leave it there. Ball is in their court. Even delete their number and expect it's over. I don't even say the let me know when you're free part. I just respond no worries and delete the thread. If you cancel, you should immediately offer another time if you're serious about going out again. Yeah. And even then they can turn 180 and pretend like it was nothing. Keep this in mind too when they're horny. This is one of those universal sorts of truths. I've wasted years of my life and quite a bit of gut-wrenching heartache trying to disprove it. And while I could probably write a literal novel about what I've learned thus far, all you said is basically what it boils down to. Shame that we humans aren't better at accepting vicarious wisdoms, and that folks aren't direct and sincere enough to avert the need for it in the first place. It's universal about a lot of things, not just romance. It's also true of friendships, hobbies, what books to read, what video games to play, etc. If it's a slog and a struggle, it's probably not a good fit for you. I'm not sure you can apply the same thing to hobbies, because certain things become very fun once you master them. Lol, my ex did all of these things perfectly, but always talked about how great other girls were and never complimented me for anything. Sometimes they might just be lonely or bored, I guess, and not actually like you despite constantly texting and hanging out with you. That's manipulation BTW. I realized that when he told me he compares me to other girls so I can learn from them and become better. That's horrible. What a terrible person. Happy they're an ex. It was an awful experience. When they don't reply your text quickly, you don't wonder where they are. You have the trust you build together. I agree. If you notice a change in the way the person texts / communication, it may be a red flag and sign that it fizzled out. From experience, when there are bad little changes, they are really bad big changes. Never a good sign when communication is less. Yeah, from experience. The person was hitting me up, suggesting we do stuff, got back to me quickly, etc. After 2 dates, the person became super dodgy, took longer to respond, like 2 days, came up with excuses all the time, etc. That's when I realized we were fizzling out and I shouldn't pursue it anymore. No relationship is sunshine and butterflies, even if both people really love each other. Strong relationships, including friendships, take a lot of work, and people who love / are interested in each other would be much more invested in each other's problems, which actually takes a lot of effort on both ends. All the troubles you mentioned are a result of being with someone who is a bad communicator / is struggling with personal issues. Sure, that impacts the relationship, but it is by no means the sole determining factor on whether someone really likes you or doesn't. Whether you want to stick with that person and see it through or not is your choice. There is no right or wrong answer. Damn. No one has ever really liked me, at least, if I'm to believe this post. Depends how busy they are, or how distracted they are. If I'm not in a relationship with someone, I respond regularly but not quickly. But if I enjoy conversations, I respond more, but still also distracted by my hobbies. I work in an office, so I can text more than someone in a job where they can't use their phone. But I still respond slowly. You have to use judgment. Some people just don't text as much as others. But if someone is interested in you, they will make time. Maybe every day. But that also depends on their life stuff. Like if they have kids, or 2 jobs, or go to school, and how long you have been talking. If you are questioning everyone you have ever talked to, you might want to consider the types you go for, or even how you talk to them, and figure out why they are not that interested. Are these people you have relationships with, or just casual dating? Do you ask them questions and talk about their interests, or only talk about yourself, or do you only talk about their stuff? Do you have very little to talk about? IDK. I can't imagine everyone hasn't liked you. That would be harsh to find out, although I think that's exactly my life after age 24. This is how my last relationship started and ended. The last month we were together, it seemed like a mission to hang out. After her being okay with not seeing me for 2 weeks and not talking for one of those weeks, I told myself I deserve more. I want to be with someone who wants to spend time with me, not just when it's convenient for them. I feel like this ignores the vast majority of people who have tough lives. When both or either of you are working a lot, have an illness or tragedy in the family, etc. Things still aren't easy, even if the connection is. You're right. And that's when open communication becomes the key to a successful relationship that survives the rough spots. The problem with this subreddit is that many people have open communication from the other person, but still don't listen. They're lying. They're playing games. People believe what they want to believe instead of what they are being told. Yep. The women I didn't like went out of their way to call and text me every day. While on paper I agree with this approach, it is tiresome to get invested in every new encounter until I actually meet you face to face and get a vibe of how you are as a person. I'm not going to invest more than necessary to get a date, and it's not fair for you to expect me to get attached so soon. So many people, both men and women, are out there just to waste other people's time, either for validation, because they are bored, or because they have no idea of what they are looking for. Agreed. I'm not looking for a pen pal. It's a red flag for me when someone is way too into texting before we really meet, and especially if they are using texting as a replacement for date conversations. Maybe I'm too old school, but that style of communication is not compatible with me. I think it represents a lack of self-esteem or maturity. For a lot of women it's either safety, or they're not interested. Men saying I'm not interested in a pen pal is a red flag, because it sounds so entitled. People should be more honest. But if you ignore their hints, because you want to believe they will date you, that's also on you to ask them directly if they are interested. People are getting less and less confrontational, even in a way that any negative interaction is avoided. So people get ghosted. Edit. Also, for some, like me, I like to talk to see if we are compatible. I like texting people I like. If we can't have a conversation over text, then it says a lot about compatibility, especially since most of the relationship would be texting, since people work and usually just meet 1 or 2 times a week. Amen. And the good ones will always let you know how much they like you, want to see you / be with you, etc. And will act like it, follow through on plans, and not constantly flake and cancel. Exactly. Although, sometimes the rescheduling is due to unpreventable things, bad weather, emergencies, etc. Sounds like my situation. I've been talking to this girl for a few months now, and we hit it off initially. I brought up I want to be in a relationship with her. She said she needed some time to think. Polite rejection, but still a rejection and hurts. Some time to think. That would send me running for the hills. It sounds like a slow fade. Either someone is interested or not. I would rather be alone than with someone who wasn't all in and enthusiastic. Now, all relationships involve work and effort. Not everyone is able to have a phone on them all day. Not everyone has magical free time. When someone likes you, they'll be willing to put in effort and work with you to make it work. Sometimes that means you're working opposite shifts and your partner isn't allowed to use their phone during their shift. But you text them sweet messages to uplift them when they get off. And when they get off they text you messages for when you're off. Sometimes it means you can't see each other, so you talk in the phone till you fall asleep because it's a working compromise. All relationships take effort. It's not always smooth sailing and butterflies and effortless. For so many of us, it's effort to make things work. That doesn't mean we don't match, it means life is messy. And our partner is worth that effort in a world we are struggling to survive in. Because they make it better, even when it takes effort to be together. Good relationships make both persons' lives easier, not more difficult on the whole. Having to put in effort perpetually often points to lack of compatibility. Two people having to bend over backwards to placate one another is a recipe for codependency. Thanks for this. I really needed it to realize that who I was chasing truly didn't like me, like they said they did. They even said they loved me, but didn't even proceed to ask me out or anything. My mama said that they were leaving breadcrumbs so that I would want their attention more and more. This guy I liked replied after 16 days. They text you right away or soon after. Please stop assuming that those who like you automatically acquire your texting habits. Some people have a hell of a busy life and can genuinely like you, but can take 12+ hours to reply. Yeah, nah. I went out with my GFS last night, but I told my dude, hey, I'm out with friends tonight. Boom, done. I don't leave him guessing. OMG, is she hooking up with other guys? Is she on a diff date? Stupid s like that. That's not nice. If you care about someone, you tell them, hey, I'm super busy with work, study, whatever. But you do make a plan to hang out again, or whatever. You don't just ignore because your schedule is busy for 12+ hours. That's rude. Preach. If someone cares and wants to talk to you, they will. Busy is code for I don't want to talk you. Not texting much during work hours is one thing, and no one should text while driving. But come on. We make time for what we like and those we want to connect with. It's a priority. Texting takes minimum effort. If someone is not willing to do the bare minimum at some point during the day and meet a low bar, they aren't interested. If I'm going to be a while responding, I will at least let someone know that, as well as when I won't be busy / will be available to talk. I don't leave people hanging. I don't expect instant answers. But really, if someone acts distant, it sends a certain message, and it's not good. It's not really fair to act cold and then get upset when people interpret a stay away signal accordingly. After one gets home from work is a very reasonable expectation for a response time. Not true at all. People have lives outside of those whom they are dating, and they may genuinely be busy. People have things to deal with, family stuff, things that came up. It could be anything. To expect answers every single time is unreasonable. What good is anything that requires no effort? This sounds very inspired and a welcoming sentiment for those who had difficulty with relationships, but in the real world, relationships that are effortless are usually based in some type of mutual codependency, or is the new car smell period of 6 to 18 months. If you are lucky, relationships take effort, thoughtfulness, patience, particularly with communicating and giving your partner time for themselves, to not be with you every waking second. I believe people who are currently unstable, emotionally beneficial relationships would chuckle at this sentiment you have expressed. The real world is complex. Relationships are complex. And someone who needs this checklist of timing, specific communication directives and constant flattery is bound to have setbacks and heartbreak. The key is not seeking for perfection in a relationship. The key is seeking to make yourself the best you can be and let your partner do the same and grow together, or having the courage to grow apart. That way you will always live truthfully and without regret. Notice I didn't say it won't hurt sometimes. I think you have to be cautious with this advice. Unattractive women. 37F I'm just speaking on what I know. Use what you laid out as a reason to stick with guys who basically suck and have shitty behavior. It's important for people to hear that it flows. If you have to ask someone you're dating early on, TJ, stand by, because life is just too complex. They are not in a place where they should be dating seriously, and it's not fair to the other person. Reconvene once it's less hectic. This is spot on. 300%. If you aren't clear if they like you or not, they don't. Not true at all. Maybe they do like you, but are wondering if you like them. Love isn't a state of perfect caring. It is an active noun-like struggle. To love someone is to strive to accept that person exactly the way he or she is, right here and now. Apostrophe.